Welcome to our countdown of the top 10 scary foods you should never try in 2024. Get ready to dive into a world of culinary nightmares. We're talking foods so wild, so disgustingly terrifying that even thinking about them might make your stomach churn. Are you brave enough to watch this video all the way to the end? There's only one way to find out. Kicking off our list at number 10, we've got a cheese so gnarly, so alive, it's actually illegal in some places. I'm talking about casu marzu, a Sardinian delicacy that's not for the faint of heart. Imagine a wheel of cheese, but instead of just mold, it's absolutely teeming with thousands of live maggots. These little guys are actually introduced to the cheese on purpose. They feast on the cheese, breaking it down and adding their own special sauce to the mix. Some people enjoy the sensation of these little critters wriggling around in their mouths. The real kicker, casu marzu is considered illegal in many places because of the health risks. But hey, if you're feeling adventurous, you can probably find casu marzu on the black market somewhere. Next up at number 9, we're heading to the land of ice and fire, Iceland, for a dish that's sure to make your nostrils scream for mercy. I'm talking about haycarl, a fermented shark meat that's been described as smelling like a combination of ammonia and a sweaty gym sock. The process of making haycarl is almost as brutal as the taste. First, they bury the Greenland shark underground for weeks to ferment and rot. This process is necessary because the Greenland shark's meat is loaded with toxins that need to be broken down. Once the shark has had its little underground spa treatment, it's dug up, chopped up, and then hung out to dry for another few months. The result is a pungent, rubbery delicacy that's sure to knock your socks off. Even the locals will tell you that haycarl is an acquired taste. Hold your breath, because at number 8 we've got a food so pungent, so overwhelmingly putrid, it's been banned from being opened on airplanes. I'm talking about surströmming, the fermented herring from Sweden that's notorious for clearing out rooms and causing international incidents. Imagine this, you're at a party and someone cracks open a can of surströmming. Suddenly, the air is filled with the overwhelming stench of rotten eggs, sewage, and a hint of something that died a long time ago and wasn't found for weeks. People start gagging, eyes watering, running for the hills. That's the power of surströmming. It's not just a food, it's an experience, a test of endurance. It's made by fermenting herring in barrels for months, allowing it to develop a unique bouquet of flavors that's not for the faint of heart. The smell is so intense that it can linger for days. The fermentation process produces gases, which is why the cans bulge out like they're about to explode. This is a sign of its potent fermentation. Eating surströmming is a ritual in itself. It's often enjoyed with potatoes, onions, and a special kind of bread. You've got to open the can underwater to avoid getting sprayed with the pungent juice. This step is crucial to minimize the olfactory assault. Just make sure you're nowhere near me when you do. The smell is something you won't forget anytime soon. Balut, the duck embryo dare. At number 7, we're diving into the world of embryonic delicacies with balut, a Filipino street food that's not for the squeamish. This unique dish is a true test of culinary bravery and cultural curiosity. Imagine cracking open a duck egg, but instead of a yolk and white, you're greeted by a partially developed duck embryo, complete with feathers, bones, and sometimes even a beak. It's a sight that can be both fascinating and intimidating. Balut is made by incubating duck eggs for a few weeks, allowing the embryo to develop inside. The process is carefully monitored to ensure the right level of development before the eggs are ready for consumption. The eggs are then boiled or steamed and eaten whole, often with a sprinkle of salt, chili, or vinegar. This combination of flavors enhances the unique taste of the balut, making it a memorable experience for the palate. Balut is considered a delicacy in the Philippines and other parts of Southeast Asia, and it's said to be surprisingly nutritious and protein-packed. It's a popular street food that locals enjoy for its rich flavor and health benefits. If you're feeling adventurous and you're not afraid of a little crunch in your egg, balut might be right up your alley. It's a dish that challenges your senses and offers a taste of Filipino culture. Just be prepared for some interesting textures and maybe a few existential questions about the circle of life. Each bite is a journey into a culinary tradition that has been passed down through generations. Sonic G, the octopus that fights back. Hold on to your chopsticks, because at number 6, we've got a dish that's still alive and kicking. Literally. Sonic G is a Korean delicacy that involves eating live octopus tentacles. Imagine this, a plate is placed in front of you, and on it, a bunch of octopus tentacles are squirming around, still pulsating with life. You pick one up with your chopsticks, and it's still trying to suction cup itself to your face. You pop it in your mouth, and it's still wriggling around trying to escape its fate. The tentacles are typically seasoned with sesame oil and sesame seeds. The real danger with sanakji is the suction cups. They can actually stick to your throat, posing a choking hazard. So if you're ever brave enough to try sanakji, make sure you chew carefully and maybe have a Heimlich maneuver buddy on standby. Century egg, the egg that time forgot. At number 5, we're taking a trip back in time with century egg, a Chinese delicacy that's been preserved for months, sometimes even years. Don't let the name fool you, these eggs aren't actually a century old, but they sure look and smell like they could be. Imagine this. You crack open an egg, but instead of a bright yellow yolk and clear white, you're greeted by a dark, gelatinous mass that looks like it came straight out of a horror movie. The yolk is a deep dark green, almost black, and the white has transformed into a translucent amber-colored jelly. Century eggs have a pungent, ammonia-like aroma that can be quite overwhelming. But once you get past the smell, the flavor is surprisingly complex, with a creamy, custardy yolk and a firm, slightly rubbery white. Fugu, the Japanese pufferfish that's as dangerous as it is delicious. Fugu is infamous for containing tetrodotoxin, a potent neurotoxin that's 1,200 times more deadly than cyanide. One wrong bite of fugu can paralyze your muscles and stop your heart. Despite the risks, fugu is considered a delicacy in Japan, and people are willing to pay top dollar for the chance to tempt fate. The preparation of fugu is an art form in itself. Only licensed chefs who have undergone years of rigorous training are allowed to prepare and serve fugu. They must carefully remove the poisonous organs, including the liver, ovaries, and intestines, while avoiding contaminating the edible flesh. Even with all the precautions, there's still a small risk associated with eating fugu. It's like playing Russian roulette with your taste buds. Escamoles, the caviar of the insect world. Coming in at number 3, we're getting buggy with escamoles, a Mexican delicacy that's often referred to as insect caviar. Escamoles are the edible larvae of ants that live in the roots of the agave plant, the same plant that's used to make tequila. They're harvested in the spring, just before the rainy season, and they're considered a delicacy in Mexico. Escamoles have a delicate, slightly nutty flavor that's often compared to cottage cheese or buttered popcorn. They can be eaten raw, but they're typically sautéed with butter, onions, and herbs, or folded into tacos and quesadillas. So if you're feeling adventurous and you're not afraid of a little crunch in your protein, escamoles might just be the delicacy for you. Huitlacoche, the corn smut that's surprisingly delicious. At number 2, we're getting down and dirty with huitlacoche, a Mexican delicacy that's also known as corn smut. This unique ingredient has been enjoyed for centuries in Mexican cuisine. Now I know what you're thinking, corn smut, that sounds disgusting. And while the name might not be the most appetizing, huitlacoche is actually a surprisingly delicious and nutritious food. It's packed with protein, fiber, and essential amino acids. Imagine this. You're walking through a cornfield and you come across ears of corn that are covered in what looks like black, sooty mold. It might seem off-putting at first glance. Most people would probably run screaming, but not you. You know that this isn't mold at all, but huitlacoche, a type of edible fungus that grows on corn. It's a hidden gem in the world of culinary delights. Huitlacoche has a rich, earthy flavor that's often compared to mushrooms, truffles, or even foie gras. Its unique taste can elevate any dish. It has a soft, custardy texture that melts in your mouth, making it a luxurious addition to your meal. Huitlacoche is a versatile ingredient that can be added to soups, stews, quesadillas, and even pizzas. Its adaptability makes it a favorite among chefs and home cooks alike. Tuna eyeballs, the eye-popping treat, and finally at number 1, the moment you've all been waiting for, the most terrifying food on our list is tuna eyeballs. Imagine this, you're at a fish market, and you see a giant tuna head staring back at you with its cold, dead eyes. But instead of running away screaming, you decide to buy the eyeballs and eat them. Tuna eyeballs are considered a delicacy in some parts of the world, particularly in Japan. They're typically cooked in a soy sauce-based broth with ginger and garlic, or they can be deep-fried until crispy. There you have it, The top 10 scary foods you should never try in 2024. From cheese crawling with maggots to eyeballs staring back at you from your plate, we've covered it all. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more thrilling content, and as always, thanks for watching.